He asked me out. I said it too loud. My voice carried across the velvet booth, bright with that stupid, girlish thrill I hadn't felt in years. Gia's eyes widened, her martini pausing midair. Around us, the club pulsed, bass thrumming through marble floors, crystal chandeliers casting fractured light over bodies moving in the dark. But the air changed. I felt it before I saw him. That shift, like a predator entering a room full of prey. Everyone sensed it, the way conversations died mid-sentence, the way women straightened their spines and men checked their watches, suddenly remembering they had somewhere else to be. Dante Valtieri. He stood across the room, silhouette cutting through smoke and shadow. Tall. Dangerously still. The kind of man who didn't need to move to command space. His suit was black, perfectly tailored, the kind that cost more than most people's rent. But it was his face that held me. Sharp jaw, high cheekbones, eyes so dark they swallowed light. And right now, those eyes were locked on mine. He shook his head, slow, deliberate, then took a breath so deep his chest expanded beneath that crisp white shirt. The gesture was subtle, controlled, but I read the violence beneath it, the restraint it took not to cross that floor, and what? What would he do? My fingers tightened around my glass. Ice clinked. The sound felt too loud in the sudden thickness between us. Livia. Gia's voice snapped me back. Did you hear what I said? What? I tore my gaze away, pulse hammering. I said, when's the date? With Sandro? Sandro Bianchi. Safe, charming Sandro with his easy smile and accounting degree. He'd asked me to dinner at that little restaurant by the river, the one with the string lights and normal people doing normal things. Not this. Not the Valtieri Club where deals were made in back rooms and blood was cleaned from marble before sunrise. Friday, I managed. He wants to take me Friday. Gia's lips curved, but her eyes flicked past me, toward him. Even she, with her Moretti blood and Mafia upbringing, knew better than to stare at Dante Valtieri for too long. You sure that's smart? She murmured. Why wouldn't it be? She didn't answer. Didn't have to. We both knew why I was here tonight, in his territory, drinking his champagne, because 6 months ago my world had collapsed. My father, the man who taught me to ride a bike and never explained why strange men visited our house at midnight, had vanished. One night, he kissed my forehead, said he'd fix everything, and walked out the door. I never saw him again. The police found nothing. His business, a small import company that I now knew was a front for laundering Valtieri money, had been liquidated. His debts, substantial. And me? I'd inherited nothing but questions, and a target on my back I didn't understand, until 3 months ago, when Dante himself had appeared at my apartment door. I'd opened it expecting a delivery, found a god of death instead. Livia Russo, he'd said, my name like a prayer in that gravel silk voice. We need to talk about your father. He'd stepped inside without invitation, filled my small living room with his presence, his power, his absolute certainty that the world bent to his will. He'd told me things, carefully, precisely, about debts and protection, about the fact that I was connected whether I liked it or not, that in his world, blood ties didn't die with the body. And then he'd offered me a choice that wasn't really a choice. Work for him, or spend my life looking over my shoulder. I'd chosen survival. Took a job at his club managing books, keeping my head down, pretending I didn't feel his eyes on me every time he walked through those doors. But tonight, I'd forgotten. For one moment, I'd let myself believe in Sandro's normal world. Dante's world had other plans. I need air, I told Gia, already standing. She grabbed my wrist. Don't. Don't what? You know what? But my feet were already moving, carrying me toward the exit, toward the cold November air and away from those eyes that stripped me bare. I pushed through the crowd, feeling the weight of his gaze tracking me like a sniper's scope. The alley behind the club was narrow, slick with rain. I gulped in breath, my exhale fogging in the cold. Stupid. So stupid to say it here, where he could hear, where... Running? His voice came from behind me, low and intimate. I spun. He'd followed so quietly I hadn't heard him, and now he stood between me and the door, blocking my escape. I needed air, I said, hating how breathless I sounded. You needed to announce your date, in my club. I didn't announce it. I told Gia. You told everyone. He moved closer. 1 step, 2, predatory and patient. Did you want me to hear, Livia? Is that what this is? Don't flatter yourself. His lips curved, but there was no warmth in it. He backed me against the wet brick, not touching, but close enough that his heat radiated through my thin dress. Close enough that I smelled him. Sandalwood and smoke, expensive cologne mixed with something darker. Gunpowder, maybe, or just danger. Sandro Bianchi, he said softly. Accountant. Clean record. Went to university with your cousin. Drives a Honda Civic. My blood iced. How do you... I know everything about you. His hand rose, fingers grazing my jaw. The touch burned. Where you go, who you see, what you dream about at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. I should have been terrified. Was terrified. But beneath the fear, something else coiled low in my belly. Something hungry and reckless. You're watching me. I'm protecting you. From what? His thumb traced my lower lip, and my breath hitched. For a moment, the mask cracked. I saw jealousy flicker behind those dark eyes, raw and possessive. Saw the violence he was holding back, the want he wouldn't name. From men who don't deserve you, he whispered. From yourself. From me. Then his mouth was inches from mine, breath mingling, the world narrowing to this, the rain-soaked alley, the thunder of my heart, the magnetic pull I couldn't fight. You think he's safe? Dante's words ghosted across my lips. You think normal will save you? Maybe I don't want to be saved. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise? Hunger? Before I could name it, he pulled back, jaw tight. Go on your date, Livia. He straightened his cuffs, composure sliding back into place like armor. Enjoy your normal. He turned to leave, and I don't know what possessed me. Maybe the wine, maybe the anger at being watched and claimed by a man who wouldn't touch me. But I called after him. What if I fall in love with him? Dante stopped. Didn't turn around. His shoulders tensed beneath that perfect suit, and when he spoke, his voice was pure ice. Then I'll kill him. He disappeared into the club, leaving me shaking against the brick. My lips tingled where his thumb had traced them. My body ached with want I had no right to feel. God help me. I believed him. And God help me. Part of me wanted to see if he meant it. Friday arrived too fast. I stood in front of my mirror, smoothing down the blue dress I'd bought specifically for this date. Something soft. Pretty. The kind of dress a normal girl wore to a normal dinner with a normal man. It felt like a costume. My phone buzzed. Sandro? Can't wait to see you. Picking you up at 7. I smiled, or tried to. He was sweet, kind, everything Dante wasn't. Sandro told jokes that actually landed, asked about my day, remembered that I liked daisies over roses. He didn't own half the city or have blood on his hands. He probably filed his taxes on time and called his mother every Sunday. Safe. So why did safe feel like settling? A knock at my door made me jump. Too early for Sandro. I checked the peephole, then froze. Nico Valtieri, Dante's younger brother. Where Dante was controlled fury, Nico was cold calculation. Thinner, sharper, with ice-chip eyes and a smile that never reached them. I'd seen him at the club, always watching, always 3 steps ahead of everyone else. I opened the door a crack. "What do you want?" "To talk." He invited himself in, scanning my apartment with obvious disdain. "Nice place. Very modest." "I didn't invite you in." "No, but you'll want to hear this." He perched on my couch, crossing his legs with aristocratic ease. "You're going out with Sandro Bianchi tonight." It wasn't a question. "That's none of your business." "Everything in this city is our business." His smile sharpened, especially when it involves family assets. "I'm not an asset. I work for you, that's it." "You work for my brother. There's a difference." He pulled out his phone, swiped, then held it up. A photo. Me and Dante in the alley, his hand on my face, our mouths inches apart. "You think no one notices? The way he looks at you? The way he threatened to shut down Marco's operation because he got too handsy at the bar?" My stomach dropped. "That was about you. It's always about you now." Nico leaned forward. "Dante's losing focus. The Bianchi family is making moves, testing boundaries. We have shipments being intercepted, warehouses getting raided, and instead of handling it, my brother is obsessing over who you're fucking. I'm not fucking anyone. Not yet." His gaze raked over my dress. "But Sandro Bianchi isn't random, Livia. His uncle is Antonio Bianchi, runs the East Side, and you going out with his nephew? That sends a message." My hands went cold. "Sandro doesn't know anything about, doesn't matter what he knows. Matters what it looks like." Nico stood, buttoning his jacket. "I'm not here to stop you. Hell, maybe it's good. Shake Dante out of whatever spell you've got him under. But I wanted you to know, you're not playing in the kiddie pool anymore. Every choice you make ripples out." He walked to the door, paused. "And Livia, if my brother does something stupid over you, if this family suffers because he can't keep his dick in his pants, I'll handle you myself." The door closed softly, permanent threat delivered with surgical precision. I stood there shaking until another knock came. Sandro this time, holding daisies and smiling like sunshine. "You look beautiful," he said. I forced myself to smile back, to take his arm, to pretend Nico's words weren't echoing in my skull. The restaurant was perfect. Candlelit tables, soft jazz, couples leaning close and sharing wine. Sandro pulled out my chair, ordered in Italian, asked about my mother, dead 3 years now, with genuine sympathy. "I'm sorry," he said, covering my hand with his. "Losing both parents, I can't imagine. My father's not dead." The words came out harder than I meant. "He's missing. Different thing." "Of course, I just meant, I know what you meant." Awkward silence. I gulped wine, tried to reset. "Tell me about your family," I said. "You mentioned an uncle?" His face brightened. "Uncle Antonio. He basically raised me after my dad passed, owned some businesses on the East Side. Import, export, that kind of thing." Import, export, the universal euphemism. "Are you close?" "Very. He's intense, but he cares. Always looking out for me." Sandro's thumb stroked my knuckles. "He'd love you." Danger bells rang. Meeting the family. Normal progression, except his family and my current employer were territorial rivals playing chess with human pieces. "That's sweet," I managed. We ordered food. He talked about his accounting firm, a funny story about a client, weekend plans hiking upstate. Normal conversation, normal man, normal date. I felt like I was drowning, because every laugh felt forced. Every touch, sweet, respectful, did nothing. No fire, no ache. Just pleasant emptiness while my mind kept circling back to rain-slicked alleys and threats whispered like promises. Then I'll kill him. Halfway through dessert, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. How's dinner? My blood flash froze. I knew that tone even in text. Dante. Sandro leaned in. Everything okay? Fine. Just work. Another buzz. Does he make you laugh? Does he make you feel safe? I turned my phone face down, heart slamming. How did he... Then I saw it. Across the restaurant, at the bar. A man in a black suit, nursing whiskey, face angled just enough that I caught his profile. Marco, one of Dante's soldiers. He was watching us. Does he make you wet? I stood abruptly, chair scraping. I need the restroom. In the bathroom, I splashed cold water on my face, gripping the sink. My phone rang, not a text this time, a call. I answered. Stop. Stop what? Dante's voice poured through like dark honey. I'm just checking on my investment. I'm not your investment. I'm a person. You're mine. Simple. Absolute. And watching you pretend to enjoy his company is testing my patience. You're insane. You're having me followed on a date. I told you, I protect what's mine. By stalking me? By making sure you come home. A pause. He touched you. 4 times. Hand, shoulder, lower back when he thought I wouldn't notice. You've been counting? I've been restraining myself. The admission hung between us, raw and dangerous. I heard it then, the crack in his control, the jealousy bleeding through. Why? I whispered. Why do you care who I date? Silence. Then quieter. Go back to your dinner, Livia. Finish your performance. But know this, he gets tonight. One night. And then you stop running from what we both know is inevitable. There is no we. Keep telling yourself that. He hung up. I stared at my reflection. Flushed cheeks, dilated pupils, pulse visible in my throat. My body knew what my mind wouldn't admit. Dante Valtieri had already claimed me. The rest was just formality. I made it through dessert, let Sandro walk me to his car, accepted his chaste kiss on my cheek, promised to text him. Lied. Because when I got home, Dante was waiting in my apartment. He sat in my armchair like a king on a throne, jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms corded with muscle and marked with scars. A tumbler of my whiskey, the expensive bottle I saved for bad nights, dangled from his fingers. Breaking and entering now? I dropped my purse, too tired for fear. I owned the building, not really breaking in. Of course he did. He stood, setting down the glass, prowled toward me with that predatory grace. In the dim light of my apartment, he looked different, less polished, more raw. His tie was loosened, top button undone, dark hair slightly mussed. Human. Almost. How was your date? His tone was casual. The tension in his jaw was not. Fine. Liar. Why are you here, Dante? Because I waited. He stopped inches away. I've been patient. I've given you space, let you pretend you have choices. But watching another man touch you tonight? His hand rose, fingers tangling in my hair. That ends now. My breath stuttered. You can't just... Can't what? Want you? He leaned in, lips brushing my ear. I've wanted you since you opened that door 3 months ago and looked at me like I was death incarnate. You weren't wrong. I don't belong in your world. No. His other hand gripped my waist, pulling me flush against him. Hard body, harder control barely leashed. You belong to me. There's a difference. I should have pushed him away, should have screamed, called the police. Though what would I say? That the man who owned half the city was in my apartment, making my body betray every rational thought. Instead, I tilted my head back, meeting those dark eyes. "Prove it," I whispered. Something snapped. His mouth crashed into mine, all pretense of control obliterated. The kiss was possession, desperation, months of restraint exploding into pure need. His hand fisted in my hair, angling my head for deeper access. I gasped against him, and he took advantage, tongue sweeping in to claim every inch. I'd been kissed before. This wasn't that. This was conquest. This was war. This was every dark fantasy I'd tried to bury erupting to the surface. He backed me against the wall, body pinning mine, one thigh pushing between my legs. The friction made me moan into his mouth, and I felt him smile against my lips, victorious, savage. "Still think Sandro is what you want?" He kissed down my jaw, teeth grazing my pulse point. "Still think normal will satisfy you?" "This is insane," I gasped, even as my hands clawed at his shoulders, pulling him closer. "Yes." He bit down on the curve of my neck, hard enough to mark. "And you love it." Damn him. He was right. He pulled back before I could fall apart completely, left me panting against the wall, lips swollen, dress askew, body aching for more. He ran a hand through his hair, composure returning with visible effort. "Pack a bag," he said. I blinked. "What?" "You're coming with me." "Like hell I am." "Livia." He turned, and the command in his voice was absolute. "Your lease is up next month. Your landlord, who happens to owe me a favor, isn't renewing. Sandro's uncle made inquiries about you today. Asked questions about your father, your employment, who you're connected to. You think that's coincidence?" Cold dread pooled in my stomach. "You're lying." "I'm not." He pulled out his phone, showed me screenshots, messages between Antonio Bianchi and an unknown number. My name appeared multiple times. Father's name, Dante's name, the Russo girl. How close is she to Valtieri? Can we use her? "They're positioning," Dante said quietly. "Sandro wasn't random. He was bait. And you bit." My legs felt weak. I sank onto the couch. He seemed so normal, safe. Dante crouched in front of me, forcing eye contact. "That's the point. His family thinks you're my weakness now." "They're right. And they'll use that." "So your solution is what? Lock me up?" "My solution is keep you alive." His hands bracketed my knees, warm and steady. "I have an estate outside the city, secure, private. You'll have your own space, your freedom within the grounds, but you'll be protected." "Protected or imprisoned?" "Both." At least he was honest. I laughed, but it came out broken. "And if I say no?" His jaw tightened. "You saw those messages. Antonio Bianchi doesn't make inquiries for fun. He's planning something, and you're in the crosshairs whether you like it or not. With me, you're safe. Without me..." He didn't finish. Didn't have to. "This is insane," I whispered. "My whole life, my job, my apartment, my..." "What life?" The words were harsh, but not unkind. "You work at my club for money I pay you. You live in a building I own. Your friends are either dead or connected to my world. Your father disappeared because of debts to my family." He cupped my face, forcing me to see him. "You've been mine for months, Livia. I'm just making it official." Tears burned my eyes. Because he was right. Every choice I'd made since my father vanished had led here. To him. To this moment. "How long?" I asked. "Until it's safe." "And when will that be?" His silence was answer enough. I thought about my apartment. Small, drafty, filled with furniture I'd collected from thrift stores. The lock that didn't quite catch. The neighbor who played music too loud? The constant anxiety of making rent? Then I thought about the alternative. Dante's protection. His world. Him. "One condition?" I said. His eyebrow lifted. "You're negotiating?" "Always." I straightened my spine. "I'm not your prisoner. I come and go as I need. I keep my job at the club. And you?" I met his eyes. "You tell me the truth about my father." Something flickered in his expression. "Livia, that's the deal. Take it, or I walk out that door right now and take my chances." We both knew I wouldn't. We both knew I couldn't. But I needed this. One shred of power in a situation where I had none. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded once. "Tomorrow. When we get to the estate, I'll tell you everything. Promise?" On my blood. In his world, that meant something. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay." Relief crossed his face, quickly masked. He stood, pulling me with him. "Pack light. I'll have the rest sent over." "When?" "Now. Tonight. We leave in an hour." "Jesus, you don't waste time." His smile was sharp. "Not when it comes to you." An hour later, I sat in the back of a black SUV with windows tinted so dark the city disappeared. Dante beside me, his presence overwhelming in the confined space. 2 cars ahead, 2 behind, protection detail that made the severity of this real. We drove north, away from the glittering skyline, into countryside I'd never explored. The silence stretched, comfortable and charged. "Scared?" he asked. "Terrified." "Good. Fear keeps you sharp." I glanced at him. In the dashboard glow, his features looked carved from stone, beautiful and brutal. "Do you ever feel fear?" I asked. "Once." His hand found mine on the seat between us. "When I realized I'd do anything to keep you safe, that you'd become the thing that could destroy me." My breath caught. "That's not fear. That's love." He said it simply, like admitting he enjoyed coffee or preferred winter. "I know what it is. You don't love me. You barely know me. I know you bite your lip when you're nervous, that you take your coffee black with 1 sugar, that you cry at night when you think no one can hear, mourning a father who chose this life and a mother who couldn't survive his choices." His grip tightened. "I know you're stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and that you feel it too. This pull between us." I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. "You can lie to yourself," he continued, "but your body tells the truth. The way you leaned into me tonight, the sounds you made when I kissed you, you want this as much as I do. Wanting isn't enough." "No." He raised our joined hands, pressed his lips to my knuckles. "But it's a start." The estate appeared like something from a dream, or a nightmare, depending on perspective. Wrought iron gates opened to reveal sprawling grounds, manicured lawns, ancient trees, a mansion that glowed golden in the night. Guards patrolled the perimeter. Cameras swept the driveway. A gilded cage. Dante helped me out, his hand at the small of my back as we climbed marble steps. The interior was just as intimidating. Soaring ceilings, crystal chandeliers, art that probably cost more than my life. "This is home?" I whispered. "One of them." Of course. A woman appeared, older, severe, dressed in black. "Mr. Valtieri, her room is prepared." "Thank you, Elena." He guided me up a curved staircase. "She manages the household. Anything you need, ask her." We stopped at a door at the end of a long hallway. He opened it, revealing a suite larger than my entire apartment. Canopy bed, sitting area, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens lit by moonlight. "This is mine?" I stepped inside, overwhelmed. "Yours." He stayed in the doorway, respecting the boundary. "My room is at the other end of the hall. You have privacy, security, but privacy." I turned to him. Why does this feel like you're trying to seduce me? His smile was slow, dangerous. Because I am. But I'm a patient man, Livia. I'll wait until you come to me. Confident. Certain. He pushed off the doorframe. Get some sleep. Tomorrow, we talk. Tomorrow, you get your answers. He started to leave, and I don't know what possessed me. Maybe the adrenaline, maybe the truth I'd been avoiding, but I called out, Dante. He paused, looked back. Thank you for, I gestured vaguely. This. His expression softened, just a fraction. I'd burn the world for you, Livia. This is nothing. Then he was gone, and I was alone in a room fit for a queen, wondering when exactly I'd stopped fighting and started falling. Morning came with soft light and the smell of espresso. I woke disoriented, tangled in sheets softer than clouds, in a room that wasn't mine but somehow felt inevitable. For a moment, I forgot. Then reality crashed back. I was living with Dante Valtieri. A knock at the door. Elena entered without waiting for a response, carrying a tray. Mr. Valtieri requests your presence for breakfast. The terrace, when you're ready. She left before I could argue. I showered in the marble bathroom, heated floors, rainfall showerhead, toiletries that probably cost more than my monthly paycheck. Found clothes in the closet that fit perfectly. Of course he'd planned this, down to my exact size. Control freak. The terrace overlooked gardens that stretched to a distant tree line. Dante sat at a wrought iron table, reading something on his tablet, coffee steaming beside him. He'd dressed down, black slacks, white shirt, no tie. Almost human. Sleep well? He didn't look up. In a golden cage? Sure. Now he looked up, amusement flickering. Sit, eat, then we'll talk. The food was obscene. Fresh fruit, pastries, eggs cooked perfectly. I ate because I was starving and because I needed the strength for whatever truth was coming. Finally, he set down his tablet, leaned back, studied me. Your father, he began, worked for mine for 15 years. Started as a driver, worked his way up to managing logistics. He was good, smart, loyal. Past tense. My stomach nodded. Then 3 years ago, someone started skimming, small amounts at first, then larger. We're talking millions over time. My father was investigating when he died. The heart attack. Dante's voice was flat. Nico took over temporarily, found the trail. It led to your father. No. I shook my head. He wouldn't. He did. Dante pulled out a folder, slid it across. Bank records, shell companies, all in his name. I flipped through pages, seeing numbers that made me dizzy, accounts I'd never known existed, transactions dated and documented. This is fake, I whispered. Someone framed him. That's what I thought too. Dante's voice gentled. So I dug deeper, and I found something interesting. The month before he disappeared, your father met with Antonio Bianchi. Multiple times. My head snapped up. Sandro's uncle? The same. He was planning to flip. Take what he'd stolen, leverage it for protection with our rivals. But he got cold feet, came to me instead. He came to you? Dante nodded slowly. 6 months ago, right before he vanished. He confessed everything. Said he'd made a mistake, got in too deep with the wrong people. Gambling debts, mostly. Antonio had offered to clear them in exchange for information. Access. And you? My voice broke. What did you do? I told him I'd handle it, that I'd protect you and your mother, clear his debts, but he had to testify against Bianchi. Help us take him down. Did he agree? Dante's silence was heavy. Did he agree? I repeated. He asked for time. To say goodbye to you properly. I gave him 24 hours. Dante's jaw clenched. He never came back. His apartment was empty. No sign of struggle. No note. Gone. You think Bianchi got to him? I know he did. We found evidence. Wiretaps in your father's apartment. Surveillance. They'd been watching, waiting. The moment he left my office, they grabbed him. Is he dead? The words tasted like ash. I don't know. And for the first time, Dante looked uncertain. We've searched, found nothing. No body, no trail. Either he's very well hidden or he's leverage. My mind raced. That's why Antonio sent Sandro. He's been testing, seeing if you still care about my father's daughter. Smart girl. Don't patronize me. I stood, pacing. So I'm what? Bait? A bargaining chip? You're the thing that brings this to an end. Dante rose, catching my arm. Antonio wants a war. He's been pushing boundaries, testing defenses, but he won't move until he knows it'll destroy me. And now he thinks you're my weakness. Am I? His grip tightened. Completely. The admission hung between us, raw and dangerous. So what now? I asked. We wait for him to make a move? No. Dante's smile was cold. We make him think he's won, and then we take everything. He explained the plan over the next hour. A charity gala in 3 weeks, neutral territory, high society, where both families would attend. I'd be there on Dante's arm, visible, claimed. Antonio would see it as confirmation, escalate his plans. And when he does, I asked, we'll be ready. That's it? That's your strategy? Use me as bait? I'll protect you every second. You won't be alone. Not for a moment. You can't promise that. Watch me. His intensity burned. I've waited months to move against Bianchi. Now I have reason. Now I have motivation that goes beyond business. Revenge? Justice. He pulled me close. Your father made mistakes, but he tried to fix them, and Antonio Bianchi took him for that. Took your peace, your safety, your life. Tears burned. Why do you care so much? Because I see you, Livia. The way you carry loss like armor. The way you survived when you should have broken. You remind me? He stopped, jaw tight. Of what? Of me. Before I let this world make me into something cold. The confession cracked something open. I saw past the mafia boss, the controlled violence, to the man underneath. Scarred, lonely, choosing power because connection costs too much. Until now. Dante, don't. He released me, stepping back. Don't say it if you don't mean it. I can handle your fear, your anger, but not false hope. I crossed to him, put my hand over his heart, feeling it thunder beneath my palm. Then I won't say anything, I whispered. I'll show you. I kissed him. Not the desperate collision of last night. This was slower, deliberate, a choice made with open eyes. He responded with a groan that vibrated through both of us, arms banding around me like he'd never let go. When we broke apart, his forehead rested against mine. You're going to ruin me, he murmured. Good, I said. It's only fair. The next 2 weeks blurred. Days, I adjusted to life at the estate. Learned the rhythms, Elena's schedule, the guards' rotations, the way Dante disappeared into his office for hours handling business I didn't ask about. Nights he found me. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we didn't need words. He taught me to shoot in the private range beneath the house. Never aim to wound, he said, hands correcting my grip. You shoot. You shoot to kill. That's dark. That's survival. His body pressed against my back, guiding my stance. Again, I fired. The target's center exploded. Better. His lips brushed my ear. You're a natural killer. That's supposed to be romantic. In my world, yes. He showed me the security system, escape routes, safe rooms, every precaution obsessively planned. You really think it'll come to this? I asked, staring at the reinforced panic room. I hope not, but hope isn't strategy. At night, after he'd leave my room, always stopping before we crossed the final line, I'd lie awake wondering when I'd stopped seeing him as a monster and started seeing him as a man I was falling for. The morning everything changed, I woke to shouting. I threw on clothes, ran downstairs, found Dante in his office, Nico across from him, their argument vicious. "Risking everything for pussy," Nico spat. Dante's fist connected with his brother's jaw. Nico staggered, came up bloody. "Say it again," Dante growled. "You think I'm wrong? We've lost 3 shipments this month. The other families are circling. And why? Because you're too busy playing house with—" He saw me in the doorway, smiled coldly. "Speak of the devil." Dante's eyes found mine. "Livia, go back upstairs." "No." I stepped inside. "What's happening?" "Bianchi made his move," Nico said. "Hit our warehouse on the docks, killed 6 of our men. Left a message." He tossed a photo on the desk. I shouldn't have looked. Did anyway. A body. One of Dante's soldiers. And carved into his chest. "We're coming for what's yours." "They know about her," Nico continued. "Know she's here. And they're using it." "Then we move up the timeline," Dante said. "Or we cut our losses." Nico's gaze cut to me. "Send her back. End this distraction." "She's not a distraction." "No? Then what is she? Your weakness? Your liability?" Nico laughed bitterly. "Father would be ashamed." Dante moved fast, had Nico against the wall, forearm across his throat. "Our father," he said softly, lethally, "got himself killed being cautious. Playing politics, I'm done with that. We hit Bianchi. Hard. Tonight." "Tonight?" Nico gasped. "That's suicide." "That's a message," Dante released him. "You're either with me or you're out. Choose." Nico straightened his jacket, eyes cold. "I'm with the family. Always. Even when you're not." He left. The door slammed. Silence stretched taut. "You can't attack tonight," I said finally. "It's what he wants. You'll walk into a trap." "I know." "Then why—" "Because sitting here waiting for him to take another piece?" Dante's control cracked. "Waiting until he gets bold enough to come for you? I won't do it." I crossed to him. "So we stick to the plan, the gala. Let him think he's winning?" "That's 3 days away. 3 days he has to make another move." "Then we move up the gala." He blinked. "What?" "Call it an emergency fundraiser. Tomorrow night. Less planning means less security for everyone. More chaos. Better cover for whatever you're planning." Slowly, he smiled. "You're terrifying, you know that?" I learned from the best. The gala came together with terrifying efficiency. One phone call from Dante, and the city's elite rearranged their schedules. Donations poured in. The venue, a historic mansion downtown, opened its doors. In under 24 hours, we'd created the event of the season, and a killing ground. Elena helped me dress, a gown of deep crimson silk that clung to every curve, slit to mid-thigh, dangerous and elegant. She swept my hair up, left a few tendrils curling against my neck. "You look like a queen," she said. "I feel like a target." "Both are true." She fastened a necklace around my throat, diamonds that caught light like ice. "These belonged to his mother. He wanted you to wear them." My fingers traced the gems. His mother. Another piece of him I didn't know. "What was she like?" I asked. Elena's expression softened. Strong. Fierce. She didn't want this life for her sons, but she adapted, protected them however she could. Her eyes met mine. Until she couldn't. What happened to her? Ask him. It's not my story to tell. Dante waited at the bottom of the stairs. He'd dressed in black, suit perfectly tailored, no tie, shirt open at the collar. Dangerous elegance. When he saw me, everything else fell away. Christ, he breathed. Is that good or bad? That's perfect. He offered his arm. Ready? To be bait in your trap? Thrilled? His smile flashed. That's my girl. The ride into the city was tense. He briefed me again. Stay close. Trust no one. If anything happens, Marco will extract me to the car. His hand gripped mine the entire time, thumb stroking my knuckles. Second thoughts? I asked. Constantly. But we're past the point of no return. When was that? The moment you opened your door 6 months ago and looked at me like I could save you. His eyes darkened. I've been lost ever since. The mansion glittered. Hundreds of guests in designer clothes, champagne flowing, classical music floating from a string quartet. We entered together, and the room quieted. Whispers rippled. Dante Valtieri arrived with a woman. Not just any woman. The woman he'd been hiding, protecting. His hand settled possessively on my lower back as we descended the stairs. Every eye tracked us. I felt the weight of judgment, curiosity, threat. Across the room, I spotted him, Antonio Bianchi. Older than I expected, silver-haired, distinguished in a gray suit. He raised his champagne glass in acknowledgement, smile cold. Beside him, my stomach dropped. Sandro. He looked shocked, hurt, confused. He's here, I murmured to Dante. I know, good. Let them see. We circulated. Dante introduced me to allies, rivals, people whose names meant power and violence. I played my part, gracious, poised, marked as his. Every interaction was performance, every smile, a weapon. Dante? Antonio approached, Sandro trailing. What a lovely event. So, last minute. Antonio, I'm glad you could make it. Dante's smile didn't reach his eyes. And this must be the Livia I've heard so much about. Antonio's gaze raked over me. Gio Russo's daughter. Such a tragedy. His disappearance. Tragedy? I kept my voice steady. Or strategy? His expression flickered. Interesting girl you found, Dante. Bold. She's remarkable. Dante's arm tightened around me. And mine. Sandro finally spoke. Livia, I don't understand. We had dinner. We're being used, I said quietly. Both of us. I'm sorry. His face crumpled. Antonio's hand on his shoulder stopped him from saying more. Young love? Antonio sighed. So fragile. But business? Business endures. Dante, perhaps we should discuss. Not tonight. Dante's voice hardened. Tonight is for charity. Of course. Antonio's smile sharpened. Though I wonder, how charitable are you feeling? With your warehouses burning, your men dying. Must be difficult, maintaining control when everything's slipping away. Nothing's slipping. Dante leaned in. I'm exactly where I want to be. Tension crackled. Then Nico appeared, touched Dante's arm. A word. Now. We excused ourselves. In a private alcove, Nico's face was grim. They're moving, now. Bianchi's men are surrounding the building. Dante didn't flinch. Expected. How many? 20, maybe more. They're not hiding it. Good. Dante turned to me. Time to go. What? No. This was always the plan, Livia. You leave. I handle this. Like hell. I grabbed his jacket. We're in this together. Not this part. Not the violence. You don't get to protect me from reality anymore. I held his gaze. I'm not some innocent bystander. My father's blood is in this. Mine is too. Something shifted in his expression. Pride? Fear? Stubborn woman? Your woman. He kissed me, hard, claiming, then pulled back. Stay behind me, always. Understand? I nodded. We returned to the ballroom just as the lights went out. Screams erupted. Gunfire shattered windows. Guests stampeded. In the chaos, I lost Dante's hand. Dante! I shouted. Hands grabbed me from behind. I spun, striking out. Caught a glimpse of a face, one of Bianchi's men. He dragged me toward a side exit. Boss wants to talk to you, he growled. I fought, scratched, bit. Then, a gunshot. He dropped. Marco stood behind him, smoking weapon in hand. Mrs. Valtieri sends her regards. I'm not. You are now. Come on. He pulled me through corridors, away from the chaos. We burst into a room and stopped. Antonio Bianchi waited, gun trained on a figure slumped in a chair. A man, beaten, bloody, but alive. Dad? The word ripped from my throat. My father's head lifted, one eye swollen shut, lips split, but his good eye found me. Livia, he croaked, run. Antonio smiled. No one's running, not anymore. We're all going to have a conversation about loyalty, betrayal, and what happens when you cross the wrong family. Behind me, Marco raised his weapon, but more of Bianchi's men appeared, outnumbering us. Drop it, Antonio ordered. Marco's jaw clenched. Slowly, he set the gun down. Livia? My father's voice broke. I'm sorry. For everything. I tried to fix it. Touching. Antonio pressed his gun to my father's temple. But insufficient. You stole from the Valtieris, came to me for protection, then tried to flip back. You think either family forgives that? Let him go, I said. Whatever he owes, I'll pay it. How? With what? Antonio laughed. You have nothing. She has me. Dante appeared in the doorway, blood on his shirt, murder in his eyes, and enough armed men behind him to start a war. Let them go, Dante said quietly, and maybe you survive the night. Big words for someone outnumbered. Antonio's smile tightened. Look again. And we did. Antonio's men, one by one, dropped their weapons, turned their guns on their boss. Nico appeared among them, smiling coldly. You didn't think I'd stay loyal to the family? Antonio spat at Nico. Oh, I am loyal. To my brother. Always. Nico's smile widened. But you're sloppy, Antonio. You're second in command. Been on our payroll for 6 months. Everyone you told about tonight? We knew. Every move planned. You walked into our trap thinking it was yours. Antonio's face went white. Dante crossed to me, checked me over. You okay? I nodded, then looked at my father. Him? We'll get him medical attention. Dante's gaze shifted to Antonio. But first, we finish this. He drew his weapon, aimed it at Antonio's head. Wait. My father struggled to stand. Please. He has information about where you can find the others who worked with him. Names, accounts. Dante's finger tightened on the trigger. I don't negotiate. Dante. I touched his arm. He's right. Kill him, and you gain nothing but revenge. Make him talk, and you destroy his entire network. Silence stretched. Then slowly, Dante lowered the gun. Take him, he told his men. Keep him alive, for now. They dragged Antonio away, screaming threats. Sandro, somewhere in the chaos, had disappeared. My father collapsed. I caught him, and for the first time in 6 months, held him. I'm sorry, he whispered. So sorry. We'll talk, I said through tears. Later. First, we get you safe. Dante's hand settled on my shoulder. Steady. Sure. Let's go home. My father recovered slowly. The estate's medical wing, of course Dante had a full medical wing, became his temporary home. Doctors came and went. Bones healed, bruises faded, but the wounds beneath, those would take longer. I sat with him every day. At At first, we didn't talk about it. Just sat, remembered how to be family. Then one afternoon, he broke. I thought I could handle it, he said, staring at his hands. The gambling. Just bad luck, I told myself. It would turn around. But it didn't. It got worse. And when the debts piled up, Antonio offered a way out. Betraying Dante's father. Information, small things at first. Schedules, shipments, then bigger. I told myself I was protecting you, keeping you safe. But I was just a coward. Why didn't you tell me? Because you'd already lost your mother to my choices. I couldn't... His voice broke. I couldn't watch you lose respect for me, too. I took his hand. I was terrified you were dead. That hurt more than anything else could. When I realized Antonio was never going to let me go, I went to Dante, the son, not the father. I'd heard he was different, fair. I confessed everything. And you know what he said? What? I'll protect your daughter, no matter what. He made me that promise before he even met you. My father's eyes glistened. That boy, man, he has his father's power, but his mother's heart. She was the same, ruthless when needed, but capable of great love. What happened to her? Rival family, 15 years ago. They couldn't touch Valtieri directly, so they took his wife, made it look like an accident, car crash. But everyone knew. He squeezed my hand. Dante was 17, watched his father crumble, swore he'd never love like that, never give anyone that power over him. Until me. The thought settled heavy in my chest. That night, I found Dante in his office. He'd been avoiding me since the gala, buried in work, handling fallout, dismantling Bianchi's network piece by piece. Hey, I said from the doorway. He looked up, tired, beautiful. Hey, can we talk? He gestured to the chair across from him. I sat, then thought better of it, rounded the desk instead, perched on the edge in front of him. My father told me about your mother. His jaw tightened. Did he? I'm sorry. For your loss, for how you had to grow up. Ancient history. Is it? I touched his face, made him look at me. Or is it why you're terrified of this, of us? I'm not terrified. Liar. He caught my wrist. You want the truth? Fine. I watched my father die slowly after my mother. Saw what love did to the most powerful man I knew. He became weak, indecisive, and it got him killed. His thumb stroked my pulse. I swore I'd never let that happen, never give someone that kind of power. And then you opened that door in your ratty apartment and looked at me like I was the answer, and I was lost. He pulled me closer, between his legs. You terrify me, Livia. You make me weak. No. I framed his face with both hands. I make you human. There's a difference. Is there? Because weak or human, the result's the same. You're the thing that could destroy me. Or save you. He closed his eyes. I don't deserve saving. Too bad. You're stuck with me anyway. When he looked at me again, the vulnerability in those dark eyes stole my breath. I love you, he said simply, completely. It's selfish and dangerous and the worst strategic decision I've ever made. But it's true. My heart stuttered. Dante, you don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. Shut up. I kissed him. I love you too, you controlling, overprotective, impossible man. I think I have since that night in the alley when you threatened to kill Sandro. He smiled against my lips. That's what did it? The death threat? I have a type, apparently. He laughed, actually laughed, and the sound was freedom. Then his hands slid up my thighs, bunching the fabric of my dress, and laughter turned to heat. We should probably... I started. Should probably what? His mouth trailed down my neck. Talk more about things, plans. I'm done talking. He stood, lifting me with him, setting me fully on the desk. Papers scattered. I didn't care. I've been patient, honorable, fucking restrained for weeks. And now? His eyes burned. Now I'm done waiting. He kissed me like a starving man, like I was oxygen and he'd been drowning. I wrapped my legs around him, pulling him closer, needing him with a desperation that felt like insanity. His hands were everywhere, my hair, my back, sliding up my thigh through the slit of my dress. I gasped against his mouth as his fingers found heat and need. You want this? He murmured. God, yes. Here? Now? Everywhere. Always. Something snapped. He swept the desk clear, lifted me fully onto it, and then a knock at the door. We froze, panting, disheveled. What? Dante growled. Sir. Nico's voice carefully neutral. We have a situation. The situation was Sandro. He'd gone to the police, told them everything, or his version of everything. The gala attack, Dante's kidnapping of me, my father's captivity. He's spinning it as a rescue attempt, Nico explained in the security room. Screens showed news footage, police statements. Making himself the hero, us the villains. He's desperate, Dante said. His uncle's arrested, his family's crumbling, he's trying to salvage something. By throwing us to the feds? Nico's laugh was bitter. Smart move. He doesn't know what he's doing, I said quietly. Both brothers looked at me. Sandro's not Mafia, I continued. He's a civilian who got caught in the crossfire. He probably thinks he's doing the right thing. The right thing will get him killed, Dante said. Or us investigated, Nico added. FBI's already sniffing around. We need to handle this, permanently. The implication hung heavy. No, I said. Livia, no, he's innocent in this. Stupid, but innocent. There's no such thing as innocent, Nico spat. Not in our world. Then maybe we should change the world, I stood. Or at least not make it worse. Dante studied me for a long moment, then nodded. We handle it my way. Nico's jaw clenched. Which is? We give the police something better, a bigger fish. Evidence on Bianchi's network, trafficking, money laundering, all of it. We become cooperating witnesses. Controlled leak. That's suicide. That's evolution. Dante's eyes hardened. Father's way. Hiding, fighting in shadows. It got him killed. We're trying something new. Selective cooperation. We clean house, remove our enemies legally, and come out looking legitimate. You're going soft, Nico said. I'm going smart. Dante glanced at me. And I'm protecting what matters. Nico stood. This is a mistake. You'll see. He left, slamming the door. Silence stretched. He's right, you know, I said quietly. This is risky. Everything worth having is risky. Dante pulled me against him. But I'm done living in the dark. If I'm going to build something with you, a real life, not just survival, I need to burn the old world down first. And if it burns us with it, then we burn together. The next 2 weeks were chaos. FBI interviews, police statements, my father officially resurfaced, cooperating witness. Dante and Nico gave depositions. Evidence flowed, carefully curated, strategically damaging to rivals while protecting core operations. Sandro withdrew his accusations, publicly apologized, disappeared from the city. Witness protection, rumor said, though I suspected Dante had helped arrange something kinder than he deserved. Slowly, impossibly, things stabilized. But tensions within the Valtieri family grew. Older members, loyal to the old ways, grumbled about Dante's new strategies. Nico grew distant, cold. I heard whispers. Dissension in the ranks, questions about leadership. Maybe they're right, Dante said one night, both of us tangled in his bed. Our bed now, I'd stopped pretending I slept in my own room. Maybe I'm making us vulnerable. Or maybe you're making us human. I traced the scar on his ribs. There's strength in that too. You always see the best in me. Someone has to. He kissed me then, slow and deep. And as we made love, tender, desperate, absolutely certain, I felt the cracks forming, not in us, but in the world around us. The crack became a chasm the night Nico tried to kill me. I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have. All the signs were there. His growing coldness, the way he watched Dante and me with something darker than disapproval. It happened in the garden. Late evening, I'd gone for a walk, needing air after another tense dinner. The estate had become a pressure cooker, everyone on edge. I heard the footstep too late, turned just as Nico emerged from the shadows, gun in hand. It's not personal, he said quietly. Bullshit. I backed away slowly. How is this not personal? You're destroying him, making him weak. Your father is dead, and maybe if he'd been a little weaker, a little more human, your mother would still be alive. Wrong thing to say. Nico's face twisted. The gun rose. Then Dante was there, appeared like a ghost, weapon trained on his brother. Drop it, Dante said. You'd shoot me? Your own blood? Nico laughed bitterly. For her? Without hesitation. Then you've already lost. You've become exactly what father feared. No, I've become what he couldn't. Dante's voice was steel. Someone capable of more than survival. Lower the weapon, Nico. She's made you weak. She's made me better. Dante moved closer. Now lower it. Last warning. For a horrible moment, I thought Nico would pull the trigger. Thought I'd watch these brothers destroy each other. Then slowly, Nico lowered the gun. You're making a mistake, he said. My mistake to make. The family won't follow you. Not like this. You're choosing her over blood. I'm choosing my future over your fear. Dante's gun never wavered. And if the family won't follow, they're free to leave. You included. Something broke in Nico's expression. So that's it? You're choosing her? I already chose. Months ago. Nico looked at me then. Really looked. And I saw it. Not just anger, but grief. The loss of the brother he knew. The fracturing of everything familiar. Then I guess we're done, he said quietly. He walked away, disappeared into the night. Dante holstered his weapon, crossed to me in 3 strides, and pulled me into his arms. Are you hurt? His hands moved over me, checking for damage. I'm fine. Shaking, but fine. I looked up at him. You would have shot him. Yes. He's your brother. You're my heart. Simple, absolute. I choose you. Always. The next morning, Nico was gone. Not just from the estate, from the family. He'd taken loyalists with him, 20 men, 3 captains, a significant chunk of operations. The remaining family gathered in the main hall. Dante stood before them, every inch the king he'd been born to be. My brother has chosen his path, he said. I don't judge him for it. These are changing times. Our world is evolving. Some will adapt, others won't. I'm offering each of you a choice. Stay and build something new, or leave with my blessing and a generous settlement. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. What kind of new? One of the older captains asked. Legitimate fronts. Selective cooperation with law enforcement. We keep core operations but clean up the edges. No more unnecessary violence. No more wars that serve ego instead of strategy. We become businessmen who happen to have teeth, not monsters pretending to be civilized. That's not our way, another voice called. Then make it your way, or leave. Dante's gaze swept the room. I'm not asking for blind loyalty. I'm asking for faith. In me, in this vision, in the future. Silence. Then Marco stepped forward. I'm in. Elena nodded. As am I. One by one, they chose. Most stayed. Some left. By the end, Dante had lost maybe a third of his people. But the ones who remained? Their loyalty was absolute. That night, alone in our room, Dante finally broke. He sat on the edge of the bed, head in hands, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I'd never seen him cry. I knelt before him, took his hands. Talked to me. I lost my brother. He choked out. I chose you, and I lost him. He chose to leave. That's on him. Is it? Or is it on me for changing the rules? He looked at me with devastated eyes. What if I'm wrong, Livia? What if trying to be better just makes us vulnerable? Then we'll handle it. Together. You shouldn't have to. This isn't your... Stop. I framed his face. This is my world now. My family. My choice. Just like you chose me, I'm choosing you. All of it. The danger, the complexity, the impossible balance between love and power. I choose it. Why? Because you're worth it. Because we're worth it. I kissed him softly. And because I believe in what you're building, a different kind of power, one that doesn't require you to sacrifice your humanity. He pulled me onto his lap, buried his face in my neck. I love you. God, I love you so much it terrifies me. Good. Terror means it matters. We stayed like that for a long time. Two people holding each other against the dark, against doubt, against a world that wanted to tear us apart. And in that moment, I knew, whatever came next, we'd face it together. 3 months later, everything exploded. Nico had been busy, built his own organization, poached more of Dante's people, made alliances with families who resented Dante's new direction, and now he was ready to move. The attack came at dawn. I woke to gunfire. Dante was already moving, throwing me a vest, shoving a weapon into my hands. Stay low. Follow me. We ran through corridors I'd memorized for exactly this moment. Explosions rocked the estate. Smoke filled the air. I could hear shouting, screaming, the chaos of war. Where's my father? I gasped. Secure room. Marco's with him. We reached the safe room. Inside, a dozen of Dante's core people had gathered. Elena, Marco, my father, others whose loyalty had never wavered. Status, Dante barked. 30 hostiles, maybe more, Marco reported. They breached the south perimeter. Professional military-grade equipment. Nico's not fucking around. Neither are we. Dante pulled up security feeds. His face was cold, calculated. The man I'd fallen in love with had been replaced by something harder. The king he needed to be. Here's what we do, he said. We don't hide. We don't wait for rescue. We end this, tonight, now. That's suicide, someone argued. That's sending a message. Dante's eyes found mine. But I'm not asking anyone to die for me. Those who want to leave, leave now. No judgment. No one moved. All right then. His smile was savage. Let's give my brother the war he wants. The plan was insane. Instead of defending, we attacked. Split into teams, using secret passages I didn't even know existed, we flanked Nico's forces. Caught them between our position and reinforcements Dante had called in. I stayed with Dante, refused to be left behind. My father had taught me to shoot when I was 12. Different reasons, but the skills translated. And now, moving through smoke and darkness, weapon in hand, I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone capable of violence when necessary. We found Nico in the main hall. He'd taken it over, set up a command center, clearly expecting a siege. Didn't expect us to bring the fight to him. "Brother," Dante said, stepping from the shadows. 20 weapons trained on Nico's position. "We need to talk." Nico turned. He looked older, harder. "So talk. This ends tonight, one way or another." "Agreed." Nico gestured. His own weapons appeared. Stalemate. "You've made your choice. I've made mine. Only one of us walks away." "It doesn't have to be that way." "Yes, it does." Nico's voice broke. "You chose her over family, over everything Father built. You're not my brother anymore." "I'm more your brother now than I ever was," Dante said quietly, "because I'm choosing life over tradition, future over past. And if you can't see that, I see weakness. Then you're blind." Nico raised his weapon. Dante did the same. I stepped between them. "Livia, move!" Dante growled. "No!" I looked at Nico. "You want to kill me? Do it. But know this, you pull that trigger and you prove him right, that you're stuck in the past, that you can't evolve. Your father's way got him killed. Dante's trying to build something different, something that lasts." "Pretty speech," Nico said, "but words don't stop bullets." "No, but love does, family does." I moved closer. "You're angry because you're scared of change, scared of being left behind, but you're not. You could come back, help build this new world." "With you in it? Never." "Then not for me, for him, for your brother, the man who raised you after your parents died, who protected you, who loves you even now when you're pointing a gun at everything he cares about." Nico's hand shook, just slightly, but I saw it. "I can't," he whispered. "Yes, you can. You're just afraid." "She's right," Dante said. "Nico, please, I don't want to lose you. Not like this." For a moment, one crystalline, perfect moment, I thought it would work, thought love would be enough. Then shots rang out, not from Nico, from behind him. One of his men, panicking or ambitious, had fired. The bullet meant for Dante hit Nico instead. He dropped. Everything exploded into chaos. Gunfire erupted from both sides. I dove for cover as Dante lunged for his brother, caught him before he hit the ground. "No, no, no!" Dante pressed his hand to the wound. Blood everywhere. Too much blood. "Someone call a medic." Marco was already moving. Elena appeared with supplies, but I saw it in their faces, the knowledge that this wound was fatal. Nico's eyes found Dante's. "Hurts," he gasped. "I know. Stay with me. Help's coming." "Liar!" Nico coughed, blood on his lips. "Always, always a terrible liar. Don't talk. Save your strength." "For what?" A broken laugh. "I fucked up, didn't I? Let fear make me stupid. We both did. But we can fix it. You'll recover and... Dante." Nico's hand gripped his. "Take care of the family, all of it. You were always better at it. No, you don't get to make peace and die. That's not how this works." "Isn't it?" Nico's gaze shifted to me. "Protect him. When he gets noble and stupid. Promise." Tears blurred my vision. "I promise." "Good." He looked back at Dante. "Love you, brother. Even when I hated you. Love you. Love you too. Stay with me. Please." But Nico's eyes were glazing, his breath rattling, and then... nothing. Silence fell like snow. Dante made a sound I'll never forget. Raw, animal, the sound of a man's soul breaking. He held his brother's body and shook, sobs tearing through him. I knelt beside him, put my hand on his shoulder. No words could fix this, so I just stayed, let him grieve. Around us, the fighting had stopped. Nico's people, seeing their leader dead, had surrendered. Dante's people stood guard, but no one moved. Everyone understood. This moment was sacred. Grief transcended loyalty. We buried Nico 3 days later. Private ceremony, family only, both blood and chosen. Dante spoke, voice hoarse but steady, talked about his brother's strength, his loyalty, his inability to adapt, but nobility in dying protecting what he believed in, even if it was misguided. It was beautiful and heartbreaking. Afterward, I found Dante in the gardens, same spot where Nico had pulled a gun on me months before. Full circle. "How are you?" I asked, broken, but healing. He pulled me close. He was right, about me changing, about everything being different. Is that bad? No, it's just grief. He kissed my forehead. But I'm done letting fear rule, done letting the past dictate my future. Nico couldn't let go. I won't make the same mistake. So what now? Now? He pulled back, held my gaze. Now we rebuild. Stronger. Better. We honor him by being what he couldn't. Adaptable. Human. Powerful without being monsters. That's a tall order. Good thing I have you. He kissed me then. Soft, lingering, full of promise. And in that kiss, I tasted our future. Complicated and dangerous and absolutely worth fighting for. 6 months later, I stood in Dante's, our office, looking at the new organizational chart. We transformed everything. Legitimate businesses fronting for cleaned-up operations, partnerships with law enforcement on human trafficking cases. We'd become what Dante envisioned, powerful without being purely criminal, respected without being feared as monsters. "Mrs. Valtieri?" Elena poked her head in. "The investors are here for the meeting." I smiled at the title. We'd married quietly last month. Small ceremony, just family. My father had walked me down an aisle of roses in our garden. Dante had cried when he saw me. It was perfect. "Tell them 5 minutes," I said. Elena nodded and left. Dante appeared in the doorway, suit perfectly tailored, looking every inch the legitimate businessman he'd become. Except for his eyes. Those still held darkness. Would always hold it. I liked that about him. "Ready?" he asked. "Always." He crossed to me, pulled me into his arms. "I love you. Have I mentioned that today?" "Only 3 times. Slacken." "Can't have that." He kissed me. Deep, thorough, completely inappropriate given we had a meeting in 4 minutes. I didn't care. When we broke apart, both breathless, he rested his forehead against mine. "Thank you," he whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me, the real me, and choosing it anyway. Best decision I ever made. Even with all the danger, the chaos, especially because of that," I cupped his face. "You made me brave, made me strong, made me believe in love worth fighting for. We fought, didn't we? And won." He smiled, that rare, genuine smile that transformed his whole face. "Yes, we did." A knock at the door. "Sir, ma'am, they're waiting." Dante offered his arm. "Shall we, Mrs. Valtieri?" "We shall, Mr. Valtieri." We walked out together, partners, equals, 2 people who'd found each other in darkness and chosen to build something luminous. The investors wanted to discuss expansion, new ventures, new territories, legitimate power instead of underground control. As I listened to Dante present our vision, I marveled at the journey, from terrified girl inheriting impossible debts to woman running an empire, from man who swore never to love to husband who chose his heart over everything. We'd broken every rule, defied every expectation, and built something beautiful from the ashes. Later that night, wrapped in silk sheets in our bedroom, Dante traced patterns on my bare skin. "What are you thinking?" I asked. "That I'd do it all again. Every fight, every loss, every impossible choice, if it meant ending here, with you." "You're getting sentimental in your old age." "I'm 32. Ancient." He rolled me under him, eyes glinting with familiar heat. I'll show you, ancient. Promises. Promises. We made love slowly, tenderly, with the confidence of people who knew every inch of each other, who'd earned their intimacy through fire and blood and unwavering choice. Afterward, I lay in his arms, listening to his heartbeat. Do you ever regret it? I whispered. Choosing this life? Me? Never. Not for a single second. Even though you lost Nico? His arms tightened. I lost Nico because he couldn't change, because he chose fear. That's not on you. Or me. That's on a world that makes men like us believe love is weakness. And now? Now I know better. Love isn't weakness. It's the only thing strong enough to break curses, to end cycles, to build futures. He kissed my hair. You taught me that. We taught each other. Yes, he agreed softly. We did. Outside, the estate slept. Guards patrolled. Life continued. But in this room, in this moment, we were just two people who'd found each other against impossible odds, and won. Not because we were perfect, but because we chose each other. Every day, every moment, through darkness and light. That was our power. That was our forever. So that's our story. Mine and Dante's. A tale of dark romance, impossible choices, and love that refused to die. Did we live happily ever after? Not in the fairy tale sense. Our world still has shadows. Dangers lurk in corners. Enemies wait for weakness. But we face them together. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything.
Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support helps me bring you even more emotional, heartwarming stories filled with love, tension, and unforgettable moments. Stay tuned. More beautiful stories are on the way.